Hi, this is Sean with Ghost Stop. Today we're going to talk about the full spectrum cameras and camcorders and any of the lighting configurations you can use to go along with them, whether it be infrared, full spectrum, and the differences between them. And we're also going to show you what they look like and which lights are better off for the setup that you're probably looking for. You can get this and other information about full spectrums and other ghost hunting equipment at ghoststop.com. And before we get started with the lighting, I just wanted to show what the full spectrum typically looks like outside. That pink hue comes from the ultraviolet and the infrared together coming into the lens. Alright, now we're inside to do some lighting demonstrations so you can see the difference between all of the different lights in combination with the full spectrum camcorder. This particular camcorder is the DXG full spectrum that you can only get at ghoststop.com. We're going to test some infrareds, full spectrums, all different types of lights, so you can see the differences between them all and decide which is best for you. Basically what you're seeing now is the full spectrum camcorder with the overhead light on in the office here. It's a fluorescent light, so a lot of the questions that I get from people are when they get the camcorder, they say occasionally, hey, this looks normal. I thought it was supposed to look pink. Well, what's happening in this particular case, especially with the fluorescent bulb and any energy saving bulbs that are out there on the market these days, the way that they save energy is basically by removing the infrared and ultraviolet. So the lights are only projecting visible light. That's the way they save energy. They're not putting out infrared and UV like the old bulbs, so they're able to save energy and cost that way. Another thing about these camcorders, first off, is the aperture. The aperture on a camera is essentially it's like the pupil in your eyeball, right? You can open and close it to allow more or less light into the camera. Right now, it's set on the default setting. You can open it up. I'm going to go ahead and open up the aperture here so you can see the difference. Now you can see we're allowing a lot more light into the lens, which gives you a much brighter picture. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to turn off the lights and you can see the difference. We're going to start off with the infrareds. So here goes the light. It's virtually pitch black in here. I can't even see the hand in front of my face here. So I'm going to go ahead and kick on the infrared light. Now this is the Phantom infrared light. This is got 25 infrared LEDs on it. And I'm going to just pan around here so you can see the rest of the room and various distances. This is at roughly about 16, 17 feet, something like that. Again, with the Phantom infrared light only. I'm going to switch over now to the Phantom Infrared Pro. This is the IR Pro. The only difference, this is pretty much just like the other Phantom light, except it actually has a diffusion lens on the front of it. Like a lot of the other standard infrared lights you see on the market, it's got a red diffusion lens on the front of it that basically takes the infrared light and diffuses it a little bit further, so it fills in the picture more widely and with a little bit more light. And I'm going to go ahead and pan back over here so you can gauge various distances again, and this is at roughly 10 feet. Now what I typically do on this particular bracket with Phantom, you can have two lights on the single bracket and with the camcorder in the center, and that's how I have it set up right now, so that you can use multiple lights at once. So I'm going to kick it on. This is with two infrareds. This is the infrared standard Phantom, in addition to the IR Pro. And you can see that you get good amount of light coming through, especially when you open up the aperture on the camcorder. Now we're going to switch over the full spectrums. Now this is the same view with the Phantom full spectrum light. This is the new full spectrum called the FSX, which has an additional row of infrared LEDs. So it's got 10 IR LEDs. It has some ultraviolet light and visible light in the form of red, green, and blue lights on it. So what you're seeing with the naked eye is basically a very dull blue light in the room. So it's very non-obtrusive during investigations. So that's the Phantom Full Spectrum. And then I'm going to show you the setup that I typically use, which is essentially this with the addition of the IR Pro. Let me pan here real quick just so you can see back over here with the full spectrum. And then I'm going to turn on an infrared. Now this is the typical setup that I use, which is again on the same bracket. Since you can fit multiple lights on one bracket, I've got a full spectrum FSX on one end and an infrared on the other. The more infrareds, the better. It just helps with distance and such. So again, this is the setup that I usually recommend. This is the full spectrum camcorder with ghoststop.com, and different combinations of lights that you can use. You can get more information on these and other equipment for ghost hunting and paranormal investigations at ghoststop.com.